Hi everybody, this is Dave Griffith representing Armstrong Cable here at the Southtown Cruisin'. We're going to go around and talk to a few people about their cars and just see what they have to say. Maybe we can learn a few things. But one of the things I always wanted to find out is how exactly do you get the grease out from underneath your fingernails? We'll find that out and other things. Come along, join us. Tell me about your car. One of the things I noticed right off the bat here is that this engine looks a little bit different. What's going on here?
Well, you have the overhead cam 6. It has the cam on the top of the motor. This was actually a design that John DeLorean and the Pontiac engineers come out with. Okay, so that's one of John DeLorean's babies. They put them in the 66, 67, and 68 Tempest, Le Mans, and Firebird.
So your low end is pretty incredible on this, I would imagine.
Yeah, and the one thing that makes the difference of this 6-cylinder from any other one is there is a timing belt underneath that cover, not a timing chain. That was innovative
at that
back
time.
in the day. Yeah,
that was a huge difference.
That was a big advance, you know, and I mean, it was, for what it was back in the day, you know, that was a leap of technology.
Was more than 10 years ahead of its time.
Yes, that's exactly what I wanted to say.
Yeah. Because we really didn't start seeing more and more timing belts until probably the late 70s.
Right.
Maybe even early 80s. And what's interesting is that now they're going back to the chains in some respects. So what's the displacement on this?
Well, this one here is a 230.
Okay.
It's a 230
plenty
horsepower motor.
And one of the things that I always thought was beautiful about the Pontiac was the
stacked headlights.
Yeah, the stacked headlights, the over-under headlights, and this whole front end I always thought was just iconic to the Pontiac. And of course, the GTO was built off of this this look, you know.
Well, you know, it followed the Catalinas, it called the Venturas. You know,
yeah.
A lot of them had those stacked headlights.
Yeah.
And it was an attraction to me too. I loved that setup there. So.
And this didn't have rack and pinion steering either. This had the old Worman sector steering, tight, and almost impossible to really get those things worn.
Well, I'll tell you, it steers nice too. I can take one finger, you know, just.
Yeah.
It steers real nice.
Just a beautiful car. Hey, thanks again for letting us have a look.
You're very welcome.
I appreciate it. Hey, I'm here with Gary Cantrell. Gary has an outrageously phenomenal car here. Gary, this is a 64 Fairlane?
64 Sport Coupe Fairlane.
This is a beautiful car, and it's got what's it got for an engine?
289 Hypo 4-gas.
Yeah, I kind of saw that earlier. I wanted you to say it, though, because that is phenomenal. Yeah, that 289 was what really started it all off for Ford.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great engine.
Yeah, and that block evolved into the 302, is that right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
The 289, though, that was a winder.
Oh, you better believe it.
Yeah. What revs can you pull it up to?
Oh, 5.5, 6. Yeah. For a small block, that's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah, that is. And probably the power curve is up in that area too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get up into that higher revs, and that's where you're really feeling it.
But I don't do that often.
No, not with this. This is too pretty a car to go out and hit it hard. But every once in a while, the foot finds the four-barrel.
You got to find it, yeah.
Absolutely beautiful job. How long have you had this?
7 years.
No kidding.
It came out of Corbin, Kentucky.
What condition was it in then?
Pretty much the body was this way. The guy painted it.
Yeah.
but I had to redo the whole carriage,
Yeah.
front, interior, and we did some work on the motor.
You did a lot of work done to this.
Yeah, but I'm glad he had the paint done because he did a phenomenal
Oh yeah.
paint job.
I mean, you know, that paint is so deep it looks like you can walk into it. Now, one thing that I noticed, you said that you had the interior done.
I did it.
You did that.
Well, no, you just buy the seat covers off of Ford,
Yeah?
and then you just slip them on. So
No kidding.
new panels and everything. Yeah, that
Well,
was no big deal.
you didn't do the tuck and roll then. You didn't.
No, I wish I was that good, but I'm not.
Well, I'll tell you what. This brings back childhood memories.
Oh, thank you.
You know, you see cars like this, and also the other thing is that my dad had a little service garage. So
really?
yeah, in Smithville, Ohio,
Oh, how cool is that?
and so I see cars like this, and I think, man, you know what I really remember about these is you didn't mind the grease under your fingernails.
Oh, not at all. I think it's good.
Mr. Cantrell, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a little fun today, and we're going to be heading on down the line, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to remember that red for a while.
Thank you.
That's a beautiful car.
Thank you.
Jerry Bricky, and Jerry has something that is untouched.
Untouched.
Never been.
It's original tires still on it.
Original tires.
It's got 30,000 miles on it. It's an untouched car. Never been touched, never been worked on. It's all 100% original.
That's a rarity.
Yeah, never been out of a heated garage. Never been driven in the winter. Probably never been wet. I have my doubts if it ever was.
Wow.
Never sat outside in the sun. Never. The
So
people
all
were
the-
pretty eccentric. They lived down in Portsmouth, Ohio, and they passed away, and I found out about it.
And this is a 1961
61.
Impala.
They wouldn't even take it to get the oil change and filter. They had the Chevy dealer come and pick it up on a trailer, take it back to the Chevy dealer, and then have it serviced.
Wow.
And then brought it back and put it in their garage.
That's a little more than eccentric.
Yeah, that's all the way.
That's.
Even the engine compartment everything is like brand new.
What's it got for an engine?
283 cubic inch, small block Chevy, power steering, power brakes, deluxe radio with a reverb in the trunk, and had original window sticker was still in the car.
Now, some of the things that were sort of unique to this early Impalas were the back deck and the headlights,
That's
or
similar
the
to
tail lights.
all the models, but that
Yeah.
see that roof line?
Yeah, this right here.
Oh, duck's tail. That's very rare, and they didn't make a whole lot of them. And then those chrome pieces behind the back window those are a kind of a rare item.
Wow.
And it's got it's called Twilight Turquoise, and then they also got the optional turquoise interior.
Wow.
So that was pretty nice.
Jerry, there's probably not many of these untouched not only in Ohio, but
when
in the
I bought
nation.
this car a few months ago, I got online and I checked every available, app I could find, and I did find about 4 or 5 of them for sale, but every one of them were too much money, and they'd already been worked on and painted.
Okay. Just a beautiful example.
It's a pretty color, and it's different, being a 4-door. But yeah, this is the nicest car I've ever found in my life.
That's beautiful. Jerry, fantastic job.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing.
Okay.
Have some fun today.
All right.
This is actually the Dodge version, but the Chrysler version of this car was the Cordoba. And some of you will remember, what is his name? He was Con. What was his name? Montalban. What was his first name? Well, you write into the station and you let us know what his name. But he used to do the commercials for these, and he would say the rich Corinthian leather, and it was vinyl. So it might have been leather, I don't know, but we always thought it was just vinyl. These are an amazing car. But I know a little bit about the car. This is the Chrysler 360, and an absolutely awesome engine, incredible. This has a 4-barrel on it, you can see, and it really does look beautiful. This is the Dodge version, known as the Charger. Boy, I tell you, this was the car to have. What's your name?
Right there, Mike Caboose.
Mike?
Yeah.
Oh, you've owned this from new?
Yeah.
No kidding!
Brand new 77.
Oh my gosh. And this is the
It's the original Digital bill of sale.
Wow. I was just noting that you don't see white leather interiors too much anymore in cars.
Actually, this is Corinthian leather.
Corinthian leather.
Yeah.
What was the guy's name that did the?
Ricardo Montalban.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, it's vinyl.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. I was right. Yeah, the rich Corinthian leather, and it was vinyl.
That's why they called it.
But I'll tell you what, it's just beautiful. You know what I mean? And you don't see. I mean, part of the beauty about cars like this, and especially the interiors, was that they really would mix up colors that you didn't normally see together.
You got detail.
Oh yeah, and tons, a little bit of the fake wood in there, but then also, I mean, I'm seeing some maroons and the white leather. Well, Corinthian leather. and how awesome! That's a 360.
No, 400.
It's a 400.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
400 4-barrel.
400.
That's when they were emissions and everything.
Yeah, kind of cut back on the horsepower a little bit.
400 cubic inches, putting out a whopping 190 horsepower.
Well, still, that's pretty decent.
I got
But
a Cadillac at home that puts out twice as much
Yeah.
as that.
yeah, I know it's it was sad what they did in the 70s
Yeah.
to cars, and that was starting. I think the catalytic converter started going on in 75, and if I remember correctly, and that was part of it. That was the beginning
Right.
that just started killing horsepower.
Downfall of the car, right.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, man, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
And you've had it since new. Have you had to do much to restore it over the years?
Actually, it's all pretty much original.
Yeah.
The only thing that was done is the bottom of the doors were done.
Yeah.
Paint, roof, interior, everything's original.
Wow. And there's not many people that can say that.
No.
You know?
One owner and original? No, not too many.
Well, I'll tell you what, looking at this car has brought back some memories.
That's what it's here for.
I think I went to my prom in one of these. This is not a boat, ladies and gentlemen. This is an aircraft carrier. You could take off F-18s off the hood of this car, and you probably wouldn't have to brake about 60 to do it. Hey, thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Have a good one.
Wow, it's just so beautiful. If somebody's not around, you want to find out what year the car is, and you don't want to look like too much of an idiot, you come over here, and sometimes, it doesn't happen every time, but you can come and look at the taillight, and you'll see that the year of the car will be in the taillight someplace. Right here it says 1955. Well, it says 53 on the license plate, and this says 52. So there's a controversy here. This is the 57 Chevy, very emblematic of the 1950s. The 57 Chevy is kind of unique in the sense that it has the fins on the back, a little bit different than the earlier Chevys that you will see, like the 53 through the 55. Didn't have that same rear end and the tail light. This is a Rambler. Ramblers are very different looking cars, mainly because if you kind of look down the side of this car, it kind of bulges out a little bit, and for some reason people didn't like them back in that era. But there were people who absolutely adored the Rambler. They were kind of like the Volvo of the era. Volvos today are kind of, there are people who love them, and there are people who are just kind of like, oh, that's a Volvo. But these were awesome. Now, if you look in here, somebody's put a little bit of a supercharger on there. I'm kind of wondering why. It's kind of like putting a supercharger on a Volkswagen. It's a little bit weird, but it's cool. Suzanne Summers
Yes.
started off her career in this car. Looking pretty, driving around town, and making all the boys crazy. Yeah.
I try and do that the opposite way. Make the girls
Make the
crazy.
girls crazy. You drive around, yeah? How well is it working?
Not too good.
And it really looks to me that the owner did a fantastic job of wanting to make sure that it was restored to the original look. I like that. I don't like to see a car that's been all torn up, cut down, beat up, made to look like something it's not. I like cars that look original. Beautiful job. Kudos to this guy, and kudos to everybody so far. They're not all, chopped up to make look hard and cool. Instead, they're made to look original. I love that. Let's go on to the next one. Steve, Paul has an outrageously unbelievable car here. Paul, this is does it have a 427 in it?
No, it's just badged as a 427. It's actually got a 5-liter high output Cobra engine from a Mustang.
Oh, yeah, okay, the 302?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a phenomenal engine, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It runs pretty good. It's pretty quick, and it sounds really nice.
Well, the 302 also could wind high because it's not a deep stroking engine.
Yes.
So you can get some pretty high revs out of it and have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's unusual. When I got it, being that I'm a big Ohio State fan, being it white and with the red stripes, I think, boy, when I saw this car, it was me, so I had to get it.
Well, do you dot the I with this thing? Is that what? So it's got a 5-liter V8 under the hood, 4-barrel, or is this
Fuel injected.
Fuel injected,
5-liter.
but it's got that 302 is a nice throaty.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
It is.
And it definitely gives you that report when you're going down the road. This is phenomenal. So when did you get this?
I got this about 2 or 3 years ago down in, actually it was in Ohio, down in Warsaw.
Wow.
About halfway between Medina and Columbus. And boy, when I ended up getting it, boy, was it a lot of fun to drive back.
Oh, I bet. Now, did you have to do any work to it when you got it?
Yeah, it wasn't running really good, and I had to give it the tweaks and perks to make sure that it was running right, and I cleaned it up a little better, made it shine more, cleaned up the wheels.
It's absolutely beautiful. You've done a terrific job on this.
Thank you.
So do you take it out often?
Not as often as I want, but I'm going to make a habit of it more. I've got 11 cars, so I kind of...
You got 11 cars?
I kind of tag team all the cars. And,
so you got to think about which one you want to take out that day.
Right. And this one's a real sweet one.
Well, hey, Mr. Steve.
Yeah.
Thank you much. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Thanks for showing us your car, and I know that you will enjoy the ride home.
Oh, sure. It's a lot of fun. I get a lot of looks, but I drive it because it's fun. I drive all my cars because they're a lot of fun.
That's right. Hey, thanks again.
Okay, sure.
Take care.
Have a good one.
This is an example of a 77, 78, or 79 Monte Carlo. And back in the day, I could tell the difference just by looking at them, but I can't really do that much anymore. I'm going to have to maybe get a little bit more information. As I walk around here and I think about what this car is, I look in here, ooh, it's a 350. That's a lot of these cars had 305s in them. The 305 was kind of a family car engine, not exactly exciting. Kind of, but it was good. It had good low-end performance, but it didn't have that high-end performance. The 350 absolutely does. The 350 and a 4-barrel will get you down the road going pretty well. Even in the 1970s, when they put all of that junk on engines, these engines were still doing a really great job of getting you down the road in a lot of speed. The Monte Carlo, one of the things that you'll notice about this is the fender comes up to a point, coming back, and it slopes down. You'll see that there is another slope in the fenders there, and then that is mirrored right back here with another slope that mirrors the front end. Just really beautiful styling. You just don't see stuff like that much anymore. And I bet over here is the owner?
Yes.
What year is?
This is 77.
77.
It's the last year of the big one.
The last year of the, yeah.
It was 78 is when they downsized them.
70, that's right.
Because in 1977, they downsized the Caprice and Impala.
Yeah.
And this car was actually longer than a Caprice.
Yeah. That's right. The 77 was the last year. 76 was
almost identical.
almost identical to it, but it was just that 2 years.
Well,
I think if you went back to 75, it was a bigger car,
No,
wasn't it?
3, 4, 5 all had round headlights.
Okay.
And 6 and 7 had the 4 square headlights.
Wow.
But
Boy,
they
I tell
used
you.
like the same fenders, the same doors.
Beautiful car.
74 through 77 used the same frame. 73 had a different frame
No kidding.
because of they didn't have the impact bumpers,
Oh.
so the frame was different.
And the Monte Carlo started off about what, 71?
70.
70.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was kind of an iconic car all the way through the 70s.
It
The
was
Monte Carlo
a
was
fancy Chevelle.
Yeah, and it was cool. I mean, when I was a kid and you saw somebody cruising down the road in a Monte Carlo, it was class, you know?
I remember the day I bought it.
Oh yeah, you bought this.
Yep.
What year?
I bought it October 3rd, 1983.
19. You've had it that long.
Yes, it was my first wife's mom and dad's car originally.
Wow.
They bought it brand new.
Tell you what, it's beautiful. You've taken amazing care
It's
of it.
mostly original paint.
Yeah. Oh, you have to do a little bit.
The front's been touched up
Yeah.
from the stone chips. It's got 80,000 miles on it.
Wow. And that's nothing, really. 80,000 miles.
I have a Camry home at 208. No, I'm sorry, 308.
308. Wow. And the 350 on this, I mean, it was in the 70s, so it was hampered down a little bit.
170 horsepower.
That's still not bad. I mean, for the time.
Yeah, for the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was still, the thing about it, they had a lot, the torque was down low. When you stop it,
Yeah.
it goes.
Yeah.
Then it's done.
Yeah. It doesn't have a whole lot of high end.
No.
Mostly because of all the pollution control and everything else they put on
Yeah,
them
they
at the time.
detuned them.
Well, hey, Al, thank you so much.
Oh,
I really appreciate
No
it.
problem.
Have some fun.
Yeah.
And beautiful car. Whenever I get around Volkswagens, especially like the Volkswagen Dan, something happens to me and all the THC that's in my fatty tissue gets released from 40 years ago and I become a hippie. This is the Hippie Mecca. When hippies see one of these going down the road, they bow to this. This is the Hippie Mecca. And as you can see, the little kind of cute little, this is a very 60s emblem here, this little flower power going on. This is the camper. And for the people who wanted to follow the Grateful Dead around, they could do that in this car, in this vehicle, because it had it had a little sink in it, it had a little bed in it, it kind of was ready to basically drop out of college and immediately go driving around looking for the meaning of life and rolling papers. Those are the two things that was often looked for when you were driving a Volkswagen bus. I can say that pretty much from my own. Oh, there he is! You don't own this, do you?
Yes.
You own this?
Yes.
Oh my God. This is perfect, ladies and gentlemen. What's your name?
Dan Roberts.
Dan Roberts. Dan, I get in the sense here that you might be an aging hippie.
Maybe, yeah, just a little.
Just a little bit, just a little bit.
I'm trying to bring it back.
And you got your hippie friend with you
That's
here.
Emma.
Emma.
Yep.
And so this is beautiful, man.
You like it?
Oh my God, this is awesome.
Do I love it?
Oh, I mean, honest to God, I can remember a friend of mine, Neil Ketchman, used to follow the Grateful Dead around in one of these.
Well,
You know what I mean?
bet you had a good time.
Well, in the back of it, he had silk screen. You know that you make T-shirts.
Yeah.
So he would make T-shirts and sell them at the concerts.
That's what I do for a living.
You do that?
Yeah. Robert's Graphics.
No kidding.
Yes.
Oh man, that is awesome. So what do you do with this? This isn't something you just take around to car
I
shows.
drive every day.
You drive it every day.
Except winter, I park it, but yeah.
Yeah.
I got one, my daughter's got one.
No kidding.
My uncle's got one, my
Yeah.
brother's got one.
This is just the best. This is absolutely the best.
I do it.
You know what I mean?
Fun with it.
Because if you come to shows like this and you expect to see a '57 Chevy, you know what I mean? But this,
Yeah.
it's like this is
There's a lot of pictures. A lot of
Oh,
people
man.
Stop and look at it.
absolutely. So where do you make T-shirts at?
Robert's Graphics.
There it is.
Robert's Graphics. Give
Yeah.
a little shout out for them.
Absolutely. Well, hey, fantastic. Mr. Roberts, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Hey, I'm here with Keith Enoch, and he has something a little special, something you don't see every day. Are you right, Keith?
Yeah, not too many of them around.
I know. Tell us a little bit. What year is this, Willys?
1955. Last year, Willys made a car.
Yeah.
They only made this model for 4 years,
Yeah.
and this is the last year they made it. So.
Now, under the hood of this car, there is something a little bit unique, because a lot of people out in the general public don't know what a flathead is. Well, the valves are wearing a flathead.
Off center.
Yeah, they're off to the side.
Yeah.
And so it's the engine often was considered to be not as efficient as an overhead valve
Right.
engine. But one thing about the flathead engine was they were indestructible.
They are. This is the same motor they put in their Jeep trucks and that.
Yeah.
And this motor's never been out of this car. It still purrs along. I could cruise along at 50 miles an hour and it just purrs.
Well, and it's one of the reasons why you still see so many Model Ts around, because that's still a flathead engine. Flathead engines are just impossible. I think you literally could shoot one. Well, they were in Jeeps, weren't World War II, and quite often were shot and kept running because they just were that incredibly beefy and hard to kill.
Yeah.
And how long have you had it?
I've had it for 40 years.
40 years!
I bought it off a guy who won it in a card game. And I got it running, and then I moved out to Medina here, and it went in my barn because I didn't have any time or money to work on it. Until about 5 years ago, I finally got it out and started working on it.
Pull it out of the barn.
That's when I found out how rare it was.
Oh, it's
How
incredibly
hard
rare.
it was to find parts for.
Yeah, well, and there's probably some parts that you're going to have manufactured.
I've made a few parts and
Yeah.
had a few things done, but
It's not easy to do.
yeah.
Most people would agree that having something like this is not only an incredibly beautiful thing, but also it's a little bit of a money pit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And it takes a little bit. When I remember my daughter asking somebody with an older car, what kind of gas, what makes it go?
Mm-hmm.
And the guy said, it's not the gas that makes it go. It's the green that makes it go.
Yeah.
Hey Keith, thanks again.
Hey, nice talking to you.
My pleasure. Take care.
Okay.
Well, we've had a lot of fun here, folks. I want to tell you something. We met a lot of people. We talked with them about their passion. The cars are unbelievable. There's just so many things here. If you have an opportunity to come down to the next one, please do. The Southtown Cruise-In. Look at all of these. These are amazing cars. Some of them are from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, even today. Some of these cars down here just need to be appreciated and loved, and I know what they will do for you. They're going to bring back some of the memories that you have of your era, whatever that might be. I hope to see you next time. Thank you much, and for Armstrong Cable, I'm Dave Griffith, and I hope you have a great one. Okay, I should probably do something.